Hello everyone. We are here to do a quick look in at the masculine and the karmic energy. For those of you that care to look, we thought we would look at this energy. And the funny thing is, whenever I tune into particular frequencies, I yawn. And I was sitting there and I was thinking, okay, why am I yawning? Okay. There could be a very fatiguing, egoic situation that is playing out. That is becoming quite tiring. It also can be traveling through your auric field and creating some sense of fatigue because the counterpart energy is purging that chain. Okay? So, for those of you that don't know, I'm a psychic medium, cover the astrology. I do have the astrology chart on the other side for those of you that I need to give information to. We're going to pull some cards. We're going to see what's coming up. Now, we do deem this is the karmic part of the earth. Now, I'm seeing orbs and things moving around. The reason I say that is this is going to be a pretty big transit. Now, the masculine's astrology links to both Mars and Jupiter. Now, Jupiter is transiting this month and it's moving over to Aquarius. So it's a bit like, okay, 1 minute I woke up and I was Arthur, now I'm friggin' May. So it's not going to be a comfortable transition at the moment from their chakra system and their upgrades. It's like having a soul walk-in, so to speak, right? So it's like waking up and going, heck, why do I feel so tired? Not only do they feel tired because we've had Mars retrograde, and that was knocking all of us collectively for 6, but also we have Aries and Chiron retrograde that is directly affecting the masculines, but it's giving them a perfect opportunity to look at those areas in life where they've been holding themselves back. So whichever zodiac sign they are, I do private sessions. So, if you do want to book a reading at the moment, I do still have the special up. And we can look at their astrology individually to see how they're purging that cycle. Now, many of them that I've been tuning into, if they're in a karmic partnership, they are MIA in it, okay? Like present but not present. Maybe to a degree of feeling that they're there, they know what they know, they need to deal with it, and just having this very perplexed kind of energy of feeling, okay, well, now that I know what I know and I need to go, I need to directly deal with this. So many of you feminines, towards the end of the video, I will give you some tips, and that's from one twin flame to another of what I went through prior to union and what themes and signs can be coming up. And again, if you do want to book a reading, you can go to the link below. Let's pull a crystal for the masculine, please. Sounds about right. It is easy for me to see beyond the obvious. I am focused on my own scarred path. Okay? That's the way I was channeling the message. It's sort of like they're there, but they're not there. They're seeing themselves as a separate energy, seeing the bigger picture of where they feel the life is going to be, and they're just in the midst of going, what am I doing here? Anyway, okay, so on the reverse of the card, it says calm, mental chatter, and clear confusion. And at the moment, we have Mercury in Sagittarius. So cognitively speaking, for all of us collectively, we may feel very overwhelmed and overactive in the third eye. We can be getting to a point where we are feeling we are getting way too many downloads, or to make sense of these things, it just feels too baffling. We're also having interference with technology at the moment because we've got a lot of solar. We're going to have solar winds coming through. We're also having the eclipse, which will aggravate the energy of the weather patterns, plus having solar integration and upgrades and meteor showers leading into the eclipse and out. So it is a pretty heavy time collectively. Increased emotional balance. They're trying to get as grounded as possible. And it's funny because the blue coming through on it, Mercury is both throat and thought. So aligning both of those energies. And when you do look at it, Sagittarius links to the yin yang. And collectively, we're having Juno in Sagittarius and Venus in Sagittarius this month. So feminines, you will be getting into duality. Whether you are overactive on the masculine or the feminine side, you're going to be balancing that. And for the masculines, they're doing the yin yang, the empath energy, the thoughts, the emotions, tuning into it, and the physical. But automatically it will come from the ego, the perspective, understanding, comprehending, and then directly relating to it so that they can move forward. Okay, let's get a card for Karmic. Oh, I think they're in the both of the same hemerotype. It is easy for me to quiet my mind and maintain awareness. I find inner peace. That can be two things. Calm, high proactivity. Stay grounded and focus. Repel negative thoughts. Release annoying and distractions. Encourage inner peace and quiet mind. I feel this is planning. Because it's not, we're going to get a card away from the ego, but that's even tuning into it. I feel it's more a practical approach. And it also can be a very detached approach, depending on the karmic you're dealing with. And I may pull a second karmic card for those of you that have those beautiful karmics. Okay, I'm just saying. Karmics I've met have been very unique. Yeah, that would be an understatement. Anyway. Okay, so this is for the more soul-based karmic energies that potentially could be another person's twin or a soulmate energy to get them on their path. Let's see what the clarifier is for this. Trying to turn over a new leaf. Feels tactical. Okay. And for the not so fantastic karmics, the karmic karmics, you know, that jumped out. I hear, see, notice, and understand messages from the divine. It actually dropped out in reverse. Improve spiritual communication, interpersonal signs and symbols, experiencing connections with the angels and guides, feeling serenity and calmness. Right, it came out in reverse. Okay, let's pull some cards. Which deck should I use? I had a great reading the other day just with the animal totem cards. They were quite fun. How are we doing? What do we need to know for the message? Do we want the dirt here today? Do we want to know how everything's flowing? Where the emotions are at? Okay, Venus, all things growing, right? Let me double check the chart and I'll tell you where the masculines are at in astrology. We have Venus and Scorpio at the moment. So Scorpio for the collective energy is the give and take in connections. It's also, you know, very Pluto in energy, very Mars in energy, and we currently have Aries and Chiron. So it can be very secretive. It can be very detached at the moment, not feeling safe with them, not feeling directly connected. As it moves into Sagittarius, it'll have this expectation and direct need to have things in their life that grow, that flourish, that are conducive with them, especially as the transit moves towards Aquarius. It can be spreading their wings and wanting to have like-minded individuals in their life, more conducive tribe-orientated energy. It's coming up for masculines. Yeah. Okay, so this week I do see them looking back at balance, right? Looking back at what was fair, what wasn't. I do feel they've attempted to change various things. And this can be, okay, maybe even looking at where they had passion for certain situations, but it hasn't quite turned out the way they thought. And that's their personal feelings towards it. I'm going to pull a clarifier on the Knight of Wands because I don't feel it's relating to the Karmic. Let's have a look. There you are. I've been burning the midnight oil with clients. Yes. Yeah, well, the Schumann resonance has been going up and down, but with the solar winds, it's going to be hard to document what that is. Okay, so we have wanting to move things, right? This is passionate. This can be very cross, but it also can be very aggravated. They've lost hope. They don't have the spiritual connection to this scenario. They've got hope in reverse. To do with this connection, this is like separate. Wanting to be separate. Not resonating with it. Star in reverse. Doubts. Loss. A lot of guilt coming up. Yeah. To do with this individual, the karmic. Also to do with point blank zero, the loyalty in it. I do feel those that had been on the fence and moved towards a karmic relationship, I do feel feels good to be back and productive. Yeah, definitely. I'm seeing them really focusing on what makes them happy. I'm also seeing there's a lot of concentration. I don't feel that they're communicating this to the karmic. I feel the karmic knows, but it's things that they're not actually saying. It's the unspoken words that's speaking magnitudes. Thanks, Star. Yeah, they're not seeing eye to eye. The both of them aren't seeing eye to eye. There's this separateness. They potentially came into it quite broken and resonated with each other, could directly relate, but there's no want or desire. The karmic could also be acting very cold towards them at the moment, very detached, and they're not wanting to fight for it either. Yeah, the reunion, yeah, there you go. The reunion is not with the karmic. I do feel, if anything, there's discussions to do at a very basic civil level for those that are in communication. I'll pull a card for communication. What's coming up for them, please? Yeah, just not to do with the connection. Might be very blunt what they feel connections are. Talking about the past, but more to do with, how do I explain it? I don't feel the karmic wants them back. I don't feel the masculine wants them back. And again, it can be a feminine or a masculine, because we're deeming the person who is in this karmic situation. Subjects to do with maybe the contract, severing the tie, cutting the connection. Also to do with if some have children, what's going to happen with that, shared access, finances, things to that degree. But it's more the conversation, and there's detachment. Like, not despair, detachment, just, okay, we're talking very professionally here. This is the way we need to discuss it. And it's very, I feel there's the healthy boundaries there within the scenario. But they're still very cautious because they do not trust each other. There has been a lot of water under the bridge. They don't need to think about it. They know it. They know what this situation is, so that they've been trained in this dynamic to know what to expect with it. So they're not ignorant in this sense. They're looking at it very rationally. Cheerfulness. What's that to do with? I think there are discussions about this can be wanting to tie up loose ends prior to Christmas, wanting to tie up loose ends prior to New Year, not wanting to move that situation into 2021. I do feel there can be conversations for some of them to see Christmas through. Hi, Sway. But again, I'm really not picking that. I pick, if anything, it's very icy. It's cold and wanting to keep it as civil as possible. But there also could be this falsehood. It's like they feel something's been hidden from them. They also know that even if this person tends to play out and act like everything's civil, that they're also being quite protective towards you, because they do know in the past this person has had issues with jealousy. And they know that this person, holy moly, thank you for my Christmas. They do feel that this person is very judgmental and jealous, okay? So they're sort of being protective towards you. They know that they can trust you, but they don't feel that with this person they're able to do that. So they're being quite cautious. They don't want to damage this. If they're keeping away and they're not communicating, it's due to the fact that they're testing this person. They're trying to keep it neutral and not, you're not their enemy. They're not wanting to make an enemy of anyone. They're trying to keep it very neutral to move this situation forward. Well, I had a lovely donation from Yarn today, and she draws gorgeous pictures as well of me. So a big love you for that, because all my donations go back into the channel. This person doesn't even care if there's another person that comes in. Like, they try to cause jealousy, but they've seen it before. It's just the same old song and dance. So it's almost like, look, you do you, boo. I'm like not bothered, point blank zero. If anything, I think some of them are actually praying for this person. Like, they feel that this would be, a really great time. It would be like winning a lotto if the person was happy, settled, in a connection that served them. But right now, what they're feeling is maybe it's financial related, maybe it's, they just want them to be happy, but they just don't want to be bothered. My twin is my critic, okay? Let me explain. Little did I know masculine's energy of how they like seeing things, right? Baby pinks, twin hates it. That's the reason why he got me the engagement ring that's red, that he said was to hold me over. I'm holding him to that. But it's always sentimental. It's rubies. But he's always liked red on me. So I said, Christmas is coming. I haven't done my hair. I haven't done my makeup. I haven't done beauty regime. So I had broken nails all week doing audio. I did my fingernails. And they got a little bit of glitter in a V. I don't know if you can see it. It's like in a V. I said they're like stilettos, right? Should I say it? They're like G-strings on a finger. Gotta love it, right? Yeah, look, there's regrets, okay? I washed my hair. I've got to colour it next. Yes. Joys of being half cast. Yeah, look, they feel regret, but they know it's never changed. It's just continued to be the way it is. So they're like, what can I do? I did the best I can. That I think psychologically and spiritually, a lot of them, especially with Mercury moving through Sagittarius at the moment, it's like knowing psychologically that they need to move forward, knowing spiritually they need to speak about these things, but at the same time, what they hope for and what it turned out to be, it just hasn't been so. And, a lot of times we do own that spiritually, that we just feel that we want everything to be great. We didn't want to hurt anyone, but at the same time, it didn't quite turn out the way we thought it was. And there tends to be this kind of bedlam that occurs around it that does cause issues. That can be for children. It can be for the karmic themselves. It can be for the sadness of family members and interconnections financially as well. So there is this thought here, but it's the acceptance of where it is, not living in the past, not pretending it's going to be better, knowing that it's to the detriment of their health at the moment. Yeah, this image, almost feeling that they can't take on the maturity for another person now. If it's directly impacting them, they've outgrown it regardless, and so is the karmic. So holding it there is almost keeping that frequency the same. It's effectively like making the same cake. Now I'm going to come over here and move things around because I've had cards over the table with my clients. I'll leave those ones there. I need to cleanse them. Let's have a look. Separate deck for the karmic. And we've got two karmic energies on the table here. We've got the lovely soulmate twin flamey karmic, because we can tend to attract another twin flame. And we have the karmic that's there to really mess you up. So it depends on which one you're twins with, right? Both of them learn lessons. Don't get me wrong. It's just one's a tougher lesson than the other. And sometimes we need these things. Okay, for the more soulmate-based person, I do feel this person does want this connection. However, I do feel they are aware of who you are. I do feel they maybe have also talked about these things. They've been very open about their heartbreak in the past. They've been very open towards maybe the reactions that both of them have had to people that they've had in the past. And they've shared these emotions. So it's more been a nest to move into, to heal and to comprehend and understand. And it's just a very separate way of doing that healing process with. So they're more, how do I put it? They're less codependent. They're more able to step back. And although they do have love for this person, they also have great love for another energy, which is kind of creating a bit of perplexity for them. It's like, look, I do love this person, but it's safe and I resonate. It reminds me of the person I'm in love with, but it's not my person. They also know that your person is not going to stay permanently. And both of them have this feeling that they know that they're ready to be that butterfly. And I've been seeing a lot of butterflies in the last 48 hours. I also had a few signs, which I'll share with you. Somebody in the house reminds me at the end for the signs. And I'll give you a heads up what those are. I'll write it here so I remember. So with that, they're looking at it and there is a conversation, okay? There's lots of conversations, but they've sort of got this ability to allow each other to think. And it's what they've already discussed. They're going into separateness, be it they're in the same house or they're still remaining in contact and they're doing that gradual release and heal. But they're detaching from this. There is a direct friendship here, but I don't feel as they move forward, they won't keep in contact. I do feel that they will release. When they both reconcile, there's a potential. Your twin will tell you about this person, but I don't feel there'll be a reconnection. I do feel it's going to be a very healthy cut. A painful one as such, more because it was a nest that they could be in, but nevertheless, it is a movement away. Now they're looking at it and they do know they need this fresh start, okay? Not the old, the new, okay? They need to do something new, which is challenging their fear-based frequency, not running away from themselves. And transformation can't happen in this connection because what it was hopping into a bird nest to heal instead of actually directly dealing with the truth of them running away from you. It was due to them feeling weak that they accepted it. They're looking at the past and they're realizing they were feeling very vulnerable. They did a lot of healing inside of this connection. And they do have loyalty. They're very, how do I put it? They're very, they have loyal hearts. Their heart was broken due to disloyalty in the past, maybe through other people previously, many moons ago. But what they're wanting is to be loyal to their own heart and be with that person that they desire. And I feel they're loyal to this person, but I don't feel that it's it. So they want to take a leap of faith and they want to move out of it. Yeah, it's been a healing process. Look, it was emotional. It was fun. It was a nest, so to speak. But it is to them very similar to it can get messy. So they're cutting it off because they know that if they don't, they're going to miss an opportunity with you. And they know this. They both know this. There's indecision, but it's more based on fear. It's a delay. So what they're doing is actually sitting back. I feel the discussion has played out. They've both been perfectly honest. This can be also brutally because it does feel a bit sharp in intervals where they've articulated what they wanted. Their frustrations now are coming out similar to being with the karmic. And now they're seeing it, that it's coming through that way, and they're realizing they've actually leveled up to a degree and they're no longer requiring each other to hide behind each other. So they're making a decision to move forward. Okay, what is the outcome for this karmic? What's the go? Yeah. Choice between energies. I feel it's coming up by the Sagittarius eclipse. Yeah. They're like, why am I doing this if I know it's not my person? Why am I doing this if I don't want to be here forever? Hi, Char. How are you, doll? Yeah. They feel, in a way, it's turning it into a karmic situation is because once we've healed, we've purged it. So we're the karmic inside that situation. So that this particular karmic that's dealing with your twin is doing it in a more healthy fashion. It's like, look, okay, we got together, we're being perfectly honest with each other. This really isn't a forever situation. Although it's going to be painful, it's probably going to be more painful if we continue to entangle ourselves. Let's look at this and be perfectly honest. It doesn't really resonate with us. Yeah, they're really looking at their relationships point blank zero. And I do feel it could be a really beautiful connection, but they're pausing and they're looking at it and going, look, I just don't feel it's with you. I feel it. I still, like I'm saying, their emotions are coming up during the moon. So even if they're correcting themselves and going back into that fair-based frequency, this karmic is almost like really pulling themselves in. And I do feel they're giving the masculine the quiet space to do this, and they're doing the same. Some of the fair-based frequencies coming back in, but again, it's then challenging them and they're moving forward and they're looking at it going, no, I know that this is not where I want to be. So if I do want my soulmate or my twin flame, I need to move away from this situation. Yeah. So there you go. To make a wish, they need to do that. So they're actually challenging it and they're moving away. Let's look at the karmic. You know, the I want to mess your life up karmic. I don't want you to be happy, but I don't want you either karmic. Yeah. That karmic. Okay. What's coming up for the karmic, please? Are they together? This is weird. This is really weird. I think they've lost their marbles. I've got to look at this. I've lost my marbles or they've lost their marbles. I'm not sure. Okay, the card that came out, which is crystal, you're going to understand when I show you these cards. I'm like, what? I was yawning before I got on here. So I'm telling you, this is really strange. Go look at some other twin flame readers and see if they come up with the same. Because, you know, sometimes I'm like, are you serious? And I go and hear it somewhere else. I'm like, thank God I'm not nuts. Okay, the crystal that fell out is this. And I knew there was two energies of karmics coming through because there was two different energies. And I was like, no. So this is in reverse. I hear, see, notice, understand messages from the divine, which means they're not doing things so divine. They're maybe in a bit of a lower density, 3D, third eye ego-y stage of narcissistic behavior potentially. It means in the upright, improve spiritual communication, interpreting signs and symbols. Otherwise, I'll see the writing on the wall. I'm in an awakened state, experiencing connection to angels and spiritual guides, which can separately be trust, feeling serenity and calmness. Yeah, okay. I'm going to pull a clarifier for that, which I'll use that deck. Separate deck, I don't want to mess it up because I've already pulled from the other one. Where's the clarifier to that? Because I got some sort of ooh feeling. Yes. This is for entertainment purposes. Oh, God. While my twin's sleeping. I had clients tonight, so I tend to do it after the clients and then come on. Yeah, they're not grateful. They're not seeing the writing on the wall. They're not seeing the blessings. They don't want anyone to have what they can't have. They don't want it, but they don't want anyone to have what they egoically feel they're entitled to. It's a sense of ownership. It's like, it's mine. Why? because they feel feminine's you're the enemy and masculine's the enemy, but they want it. It's really weird. Anyway, okay, the reason I said this is weird is because look at these cards. Okay. Looking at the past, they had planned this. They had put blood, sweat, and tears, passion, power, ego, lust into this, right? They had their shit moving and they intend to move something forward. Now, this is the card of Cancer. We have a full moon in Cancer coming up at the end of the year. This also can relate to Pisces. Now, Neptune and Pisces was in retrograde, and from a high frequency point of view, we are able to articulate what is a delusion and an illusion. It also, because of the astrology and the Schumann resonance, we have at the moment had ascension symptoms, all of us collectively, but unless you know what they are, you're experiencing a vibration. You don't know where it's coming from. So cognitive energy does take a bit because, number one, as I mentioned, we have with Mercury, it's in Sagittarius at the moment. So it's overload of information, wanting to grow. Now, logically, third eye, Mercury energy, which is both throat and third eye, tries to work that out like a Virgo. Let me look at the details. Sagittarius is like, no, let's build that ship. Let's go. So when two energies are coming through like that, you need to slow down to be able to break it down into an understandable format. Now, a person that has not understood those tools will run with it, which can be quite dangerous. As they're running with it, what's coming up is they're believing they're on the right track. They're moving forward. They're coming in, and I don't feel this is good, okay? This can be relating to family, relating to their hopes and dreams, coming in like a bat out of hell. Now, even looking at this woman, like I'm looking at her from, I don't know if you can see her face. She's looking a bit pissed. My computer better not crash on me. Technology at the moment's been mucking up. Coming in like a bat out of hell, right? She's, okay, she, he, whoever this is, just in case the chat has frozen. Knew it had. Yeah, well, the weather's going to get worse moving into the eclipse. Okay, as far as they're concerned, they're going to change the plans. Now, I do feel this relates to you, feminine. I'm just going to say. This is them intervening in some shape or form. So I will pull a few cards relating to those of you that are in communication, those of you that are seeing each other. I'll chat with you guys in the chat. We'll see what comes up. What they're doing is moving forward, and it's like, no, I've got a different plan for you. I don't care what your plan is. I have a different plan for you. Now, this is relating to their family, their home, and what their entitlements are. This could be disputes in court. This could be disputes relating to you, divine feminine, or it could be disputes relating to the masculine and what they feel they should be doing. They're waiting. They're like, right when they don't see it coming, I'm going to get my masculine or my partner and have what is mine, and they believe they're going to marry. Okay, I'm like, what is this? Okay, 3 cards fell out. As far as they're concerned, some of them do think they're the soulmate twin flame. Others are thinking that they know about you, divine feminine. They know the plan the masculine has with you, and they've seen the change in the masculine, be it you're seeing them or not, and they're peeved, okay? They've got a plan, and they're like, right, I'm taking the power back into my hands. I have cast my eye on this situation with this connection, and I have my own opinion towards this. Okay. Should we pull some more cards? They're watching. Okay. I'm going to use the other deck for masculines. I want to know what they feel about this. Okay. What does the masculine feel? Okay. Hi. Me too. I'm sure they've had enough of themselves, but they haven't worked it out yet. Why would you fight for something that doesn't want you? Okay, masculines are focusing on their life. They're dropping the burdens. They can't be bothered. Okay? They know this. They know what the situation's like. They're only focused on their hopes and dreams. And this come up in the card last time. I noticed in this card there is a peeping Tom. And before it looked like a woman, now it looks like a bird. Pay attention to birds, feminines, because I think some of the birds are going to give you messages at the moment. There's news, okay? Something is watching from above. And I'm picking this energy as the emotions of the masculine. Although it's a feminine, I'm feeling it's the emotions the masculine has towards divine feminine. But inside his life of what he feels his hope and dream is. And he's, for the first time, focused very heavily on that, not the past. See how it's directly behind? But this person or energy or situations from the past is observing and not happy, almost looking at it like they're prey. So they're really not focused. They're like, okay, masculines is looking at life and going, tapping into my spirituality, following my hopes and dreams, looking at the things that make me feel emotionally fulfilled, filling my cup. Dropping the burdens, can't be bothered. But they know that the karmic isn't accepting it. But they're like, look, I know who you are, I know what you do, I'm not doing that. They have a great deal of loyalty towards you. They also do feel it means, okay, feathers. When you see a feather, it's asking you to pause and meditate. It's asking you to connect in. And again, black can be to do with psychic protection. It can be to do with endings. Crows also link in spiritually and psychically to the other side. I'm so over this TF journey. It won't define you. I'll give you some tips at the end. I did tell you guys, go back and look at 2018. Go and see where I was in the stage where you guys are at now. That's why I've been mentioning those videos. You guys are at the final stage of it. It is the toughest point. Reaching union with self is the toughest point, and then your union with the twin comes. But you'll be so detached that it no longer defines you. You'll also look at the karmic that the karmic has no power. Simply because if we had power, we would have manifested the twin flame journey 25 odd years ago. So if they have magical powers, doing not much at all, why would we think that they would stay living that? I mean, because we've done that ourselves. We've been in situations that haven't served us and we've outgrown it. So why in our ego do we feel that they're that stupid that they're going to live a shitty life for the rest of their life? Not true. Excuse my French. Art of appreciation. It's like having that wake-up call, looking at things, knowing who divine feminine is. Cord cutting does not work. I've been on the journey 25 years. It doesn't work. The thing you need to do is when the downloads come in from your twin, you need to tune out and you need to blow the energy out and tune out, and it helps their ascension. It can cause more drama, and you can't cut the cord. It is a soul contract. The only cords you can cut are from karmic cycles, but then your purging gets heavier. So you're better off to try and integrate and work it through so you don't have to come back and do it. Yeah, it comes back heavier. So all that you're really doing You can send love and light to the karmics and to close that cycle with them. There's guided meditation you can do. At some point, I'm going to do a video based on it where you can channel it and you can make peace with that person. You would have had a soul contract with them in a past life. But most of the astrology at the moment is it's finalizing. So you guys will feel the heaviest energy of your ascension at the moment, probably even leading into this eclipse. And, you know, even I was saying to Giggle this morning, I really moved into 2019 back then with similar astrology prior to reaching union. And I decided that instead of telling myself all these false fulfilling prophecies and how horrible it was going to be, I literally said to myself, okay, I've seen it this far on my own. So why then would I say to myself, okay, I'm definitely going to tell myself I'm not going to be with 20 again, another New Year's, another Christmas, another birthday. It's like, what's the difference? Okay, that's fine. Accept it and reign that new year on my own and see it through and face my shadow, which is what's the shadow? We're sad that we don't get to have it with them. Face that shadow then. Accept it. And then move through that. And then you've broken that cycle. And it no longer defines you. But do something nice. You know, be it you're sitting with a friend, be it you're talking on Messenger or Skype or doing something that is different, but you're not sitting there counting the days down, getting peeved off, getting mad about it. Look at it like you are the golden nugget instead of them being the golden nugget, and turn that energy around and say, okay, well, hey, as much as I miss them, I hope to goodness they miss me, because guess what? It's within their power. And if they want to, I'm right here. I'm a phone call away. Dealing with lack of harmony. Yes, they're scared of the past, but they also know that they want this connection with you. They don't want to repeat the same pattern. Okay? Outcome for the karmic. My twin once accused me of your twin. It's because he can't own responsibility back then for how he felt. Nobody has power over another person. We give that away. It's called giving your power away. If I was magic, I would have had a lot of things different. Yeah, well, we get to the point we want to have a lobotomy so that this won't affect us. It's not like we're getting up here talking about it because we think it's a walk in the park. Okay, this person's vision versus masculine's is very different. Okay, this is all they're thinking about is their vision. What they're not seeing is even the vision they're teaching to their children is not how it's turning out. And, you know, where it's at is an unhappy dynamic, and your children are going to have a happy life and be successful and proud. You know, if for those that do have children, these connections better be in a healthy connection. But there's a tower moment coming for the karmic. Okay, and their tactical responses are going to bring them undone. So it's not really working for them, it's making it worse. Both for their life, people around them, but something's coming about, and I do believe it's near the eclipse. Okay, I'm going to pull a card. Crowning energy was be patient, and I thought that was bloody funny because we always say, this is the one word Twin Flame say. And it came up sideways, so it's saying it's coming quite quick. One card for masculine. Oh, two come out. Okay, okay. Okay. Towards the karmic situation, grieving your losses in reverse. Correcting your mistakes. It takes two to tango. Not all the blame's on one side. So connected to that situation, they had attempted. It did not work. Now they're embracing their power. Okay, the nicer karmic, the one that is more soulmatey, twin flamey, that isn't their twin flamey soulmatey, but they've breached a cycle together. Yeah, forgive and forget. More authentic, letting go. What is their outcome for their future love? They're going to take a little bit of time. They're not jumping into things right away. They're doing things more from a healthy domain. But they're just focused on themselves. They're going to move forward and focus on themselves for a bit. But I do feel it is because they do have a twin flame themselves. Now, the funky karmic that wants to come and cause BS and drama. Let's have a look. What do we need to know about these karmics, please? Becoming a bit more verbal, I'd say. Ooh. Outcome, please. I don't know if that's good. Okay. Reflecting on your truth. Oh no, that was for the other one. Becoming a clear channel. I do feel there's going to be a bit of verbal energy. Yeah. Towards their feelings. And the fact that, you know, they're not getting what they wanted. They're not stuck, though. They're doing this through their own free accord. So they're going to... they may be talking about this. I think the pain has been because they've realised that this person doesn't want to be there and it hurts. So they're having to address it. But they can be speaking about their truth with friends, with people that they feel that maybe they feel the situation was unfair. They can have a bit of hermit mode time, okay? Oh, no. They don't want to talk to anyone, right? They know that they need to love themselves, but this... they already know that is a fact. Okay, it's no surprise to them. They already know that is a fact. And there's been this avoidance. There's been some sense of communication that maybe has made them feel that they need to focus more on themselves at the moment because this isn't healthy and that journey has come to an end. They might go into negotiating. I think this is like the 7 stages of healing. My sister-in-law gave it to me. Yeah. They don't want this to end poorly, but they feel it has, but they might be going into, okay, what's my plan? Wanting to claim their art, and that's what I thought, oh God, what does that mean? Yeah, they're giving it some space, giving it some time. I do feel they're going to come through... they're trying to gain clarity. They're wanting to see the truth of this situation. Claiming their art, though, may be the tactical approach. Like, what can I do to kind of swindle this my way? Yeah. You can't, none of us can do that. None of us can make something be if it's not. Yeah, it's not going to come together. So it's more the healing process. If anything, even if they're going into negotiation, I do feel the detached energy that masculine's taking on is probably the most effective one. Only from a point of view that you can't negotiate with someone that isn't accepting reasoning. Sometimes we do individually need the space to be able to see our inner truth. And then if we can communicate effectively like adults, it then moves forward there. Where this is in this stage is not coming through at this point. Now, the signs that I saw, I've been seeing a lot of manifestation energy. I've also been, I had a item blew down the road and it was next to my rubbish bin. And I was talking to Giggle on the phone, and I was picking things up, and it was shiny, and it was silver, and I was like, what is this? And on it was a love heart, and it said, I do, and it had 2 rings entangled in each other, and we literally were talking about marriage, weddings, the twin flame, and it was like, bang, there it was on the floor. So, again, when Giggle jumps in the house and watches this video, because I couldn't message her on my other phone because it's flat. She will confirm that, in fact, yes, we did see this morning. So there was that. The butterflies. There were a lot of moths. Now, when we see moths, it relates to our feelings, our emotions, the physical, the 5D more, you know. When we're seeing butterflies, that's the physical transformation coming to fruition. And I do feel for a lot of you, which you're not realizing is it's so close around the corner. Now, obviously, depending on where you are in the journey, will depend on how you have to relate and react to it. Do we have any questions in the house? I got my contract for 2021. Yes. Any guidance for uni? I surely can do that, Antonella. Study. Let me look at the chart for study. Interacting and things to that degree with study will pay off well. You've got Virgo in the 11th. It's only because you're one of my clients and you're my friend, and I also know your astrology chart. Okay, studying at the moment. Moving into 2021, you're going to find that your rapport is going to build. The biggest energy will come from networking. Most of what you do is going to build quite well, but you do need to pace yourself. Now, mid-year next year, don't take on anything. And I'll tell you the date. So if you've got a pen, sweet cheeks, I'll tell you the dates. Between June the 20th and October the 18th, don't take on any new creative ventures, because we're going to have Jupiter retrograding into Pisces and it hits your 5th house. So don't do anything around then. And also to do with your money and your shared resources, it should ease up after the eclipse. But just especially with your health at the moment, because we had Neptune and Pisces, you know, you trying to push everything together with your creative endeavors, your work, even your health, you know, if it's been quite on and off, it should balance out probably again by mid-month. Now, what would you, I'll pull a few cards for you. Such a nice card. She's a high achiever. She underestimates herself. She always does way too much. Shine your light. This was what I was saying. Do everything in moderation. If you need to pause and you need to have a break, don't do... Virgos are perfect. I'll just say it. Virgos, you guys rock. You guys rock, right? But don't burn yourself out. So if you find things are getting too much articulated, if you need a break, take a break. Pace yourself through it. Keep an eye on your health, keep balanced, and the success should be there. Okay? Any other questions? Yeah, stop putting everyone first. You got to put yourself first. This card was in reverse. I also see a bit of travel for you. You could have some communication from overseas as well. Can't believe I'm still awake at this hour. Any questions before I go to bed? I hope you enjoyed the reading. Thank you for those of you who have liked the video. She's sitting quietly. Hi, love. How are you? Was Olsen in the house earlier? I heard the term chocolate. How do you know if it's okay to contact twin? How do I put it? You need to sit with it and you need to ask yourself, are you calling to make a statement? Has the communication been open? Are you thinking? And you've got to go through a series of questions. Hi, Olsen. Merry Christmas. You eat that chocolate, man. So, with it, what I would do, number one, when we are thinking they've forgot about us, they do have a brain. Okay. Number two, if it was fluid and they were always welcoming and saying, hey, you can come over anytime, do such, challenge that. If you can communicate, chuck a message through. Also, if you have no expectation to the outcome and it's not going to affect you, 100% go for gold, as long as you don't have attachment. So communication, what I moved into when I was going through my purgatory experience, I was in separation. Anything I was looking outside of myself for, I would come back in the initial stages to myself. It's like, okay, are you doing this because you're scared that they have forgotten you or they have a brain? Why would you think someone would forget you? You're a pain in the bum. The other point of view is, if you have no attachment to the outcome, you have absolutely nothing to lose. So there's no reason why not. If you do want to see if they're naturally going to come towards you, you can chuck a text message. But keep it as a statement over a question. A question is an expectation and it can cause awkwardness. Then you sit there and you really peep because the person hasn't messaged you back. So that's the best way to handle it, especially since this is a large pocket of their ascension this month. It's probably it's the Phoenix rising this month. The patient card come out, which does make sense. We're having an integration collectively, but most of our planets are direct feminines and they have been for many months. We've been tied due to Aries and Chiron retrograde and Mars retrograde, but their soul planets for their spiritual upgrade has been very large. We've been awakening probably for the last 10 odd years. They're doing it in a very condensed format, and feminines naturally have that way of looking at things differently. We do our spirituality different. They do theirs directly from circumstances and experiences. I mean, that's not all of them, but for the most part, you'll find it will be a direct circumstance and they gain their spirituality through those experiences. Does that make sense? It depends on how you want to work it. Like, if you were thinking, have they forgot me? I'll just message them just in case. I would literally use most of my communication via a statement. So it would be, I'm sorry to hear X, Y, and Z. And it would be, I'm just making a statement. And then they're seeing and observing that I'm not mad. They're seeing I'm being adult. I'm not expecting anything. It's just a statement. If you want to talk to me, you're most welcome to. But I don't need to remind you of that. That's up to you. You're an adult. And then it makes that person take accountability to then have to decide, well, they're not angry with me and they made a comment, and then it can start and the communication can go, but don't leave it dry. Do you know what I mean? Don't leave it to the point you're like, okay, what do I say? Oh my God, don't do that. Sit there and be open to it, but don't have an expectation. Don't go into a tangent as soon as you message. Self-fulfilling prophecies. I knew they wouldn't message me. Don't have any attachment to it like it doesn't define you. Keep working on your ascension. If you're a twin, you're always going to come back together again. It's just part of the spiritual process. Be it you end up being friends, but 90% of you, it will be there to communicate, there to heal and move forward. Does that make sense? How many twins there are on the planet? I have no idea. I wouldn't even try and consider it. Because even taking the tag away, it's a bit like sometimes when we're going through this process, we go through that stage where we're questioning if we are or aren't. Well, the thing is, this is a crazy thing, and this is how I would break it down for myself. Do you need a tag to define who you love? Thank you. We don't need a tag to define. We don't need the term karmic, soulmate, or twin to define who we love. We have a feeling. Love is away from intuition. How do I put it? Don't be mad that you love someone if they've done something mean to you, because that's emotion and ego. It's not the vibrational of, they're two separate things. Love loves because it's a vibration, it's a feeling. Hurt people, right? Does that make sense? True that. Yeah, you do get to a stage, and that's what, unless you've been on the path a long time, and you know, some of you further back on the path that have only just, you know, tapped into this kind of frequency, don't think never connect your dots to how long it's going to be. You can literally reach union in 24 hours. You also can get to a point when you have had your ascension process, and we continue to ascend our whole life, that you can choose to be with whoever you want. But you have to do the soul healing. And many of you will, you'll be a singular being, and you'll see how it directly impacts every sense of your relationships. So those of you that choose to do that and you come back together, which most of you will have a choice, you know, inside the connection, and it will be both sides making physical choices to be together. Both Twin and I physically choose to be with each other. We don't expect to. We don't tell each other that how we need to be. I very much express that, and I might have years ago, but not like a karmic. That's different. How do I put it? We're directly taking ownership for our own side of the fence, but we're living in a connection sharing. So it's not like the old school kind of relationships. I can't explain it. There's less attachment, more compassion and understanding. And we know all the good, bad, and ugly of each other because we've seen it all. So there's nothing to hide. It's like we've seen it all. Which is quite healthy, really, because we can joke about it now. When we're not purging. Any questions? As I'm cleaning up to get ready to cleanse my cards, I've got my cleansing, smudging area to the corner. Just in case the chat froze. Chat's froze, you know. Love and light, guys. As I mentioned, thank you for liking the video. Thank you for commenting. Comments help as well. I will be back during the week to come and do some more updates. And tell me how this relates. Specials are still up for a limited time. Getting quick because they really are filling up fast. I will.